Now I'm live. All right.
Okay.
So, all right. So, wait, just make sure I don't. Yep, I'm live.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Welcome to the Smeth Den.
I like your room a lot.
Thanks.
It looks like you vacuumed. Good for
Oh,
you.
that's not true. That's definitely not true. I have vacuumed, but
In the
some
past, in the
yeah, it's
distant
happened.
past.
It's happened. It's happened.
Uh, Shadow says hello, by the way.
Hello, Shadow. So, wanted to
So,
tell you not to make an OnlyFans.
right. We're gonna talk about that first.
Sure, yeah. Well, I think it'll all blend in.
Okay.
Um,
The
you
first
were
topic that we
talking,
thought about was anorexia because I was in your
right?
chat when it just kind of came up spontaneously with Katie.
Yeah, you vehemently were triggered.
What
I
was
don't
I
know.
doing?
You
I
were
was triggered
you seemed triggered
because
by
it's
my. I
I've
said I
heard.
said that this anorexia is not different from intermittent fasting. It's just levels of extremity. And at some point, there's a blurry line that once you cross it, now it becomes a problem. And it's hard to know when you hit that line, so you have to be careful.
I agree with that to some extent that it does. It's a like slippery slope, is what I remember saying in the chat. Um, I think I come across in chat as super aggressive, and I don't even think that I'm being that way. But like Wick has said this, like you've got a very different persona in my chat than in VC than on your stream. Um, but it's easier to be very clear with what you mean, but it's also easier to be misinterpreted at the same time in chat. Um,
Okay,
so,
so you did some research on anorexia because
mhm.
I got the impression you disagree with me, but you seem to like agree with me now.
No, I think you're saying, like, I don't really believe you when you say it's the same thing. Because then you say, well, but there's levels and it slips into it. So I'm saying, well, yeah, like there is a way in which it's a slippery slope, but there's obviously a difference between intermittent fasting and anorexia.
I think if you're in intermittent fasting, you should admit to yourself. You should be able to say what I'm doing is not too different from anorexia, because then like you should be aware what's happening.
Not too different is not the same as
Well,
basically the same thing as anorexia or an anorexic practice, you might say.
the point of diagnosis is when something becomes maladaptive.
Yes.
So at the point at which your fasting is now maladaptive is the point at which it's anorexia, I would say.
Right. When I was looking into this, I had like the research question: is it only anorexia if you have body dysmorphia? And that doesn't seem to be the case. Actually, the symptoms of anorexia are the symptoms of starvation mostly. Um,
Right.
and it's different because anorexia is a maladaptive coping mechanism for we don't know exactly what it's different in all cases. In Canada, there was an incredible spike in anorexia in adolescence when COVID hit, like pretty immediately after shelter in place orders, and the severity of the increase in hospitalizations for anorexia and just new incidence reports of diagnosis of anorexia, as well as the severity of the disease at onset or at diagnosis, were all increased like crazy numbers, and they were worse in areas. I'm getting a sound alert. Hold on.
A sound alert.
And it also didn't. Oh, I don't even have the sound alert in this scene. That's ridiculous. Browser source, add existing sound alerts. Okay. Sorry. It was worse in areas where shelter-in-place orders were worse. Like, the more locked down you were, the less access you had to, like, social structures, the worse that this tended to be. So anorexia is a response to something going on wrong mental health-wise. It isn't just, like, what you might think. Like,
Hmm.
it isn't just, like, this crazy body dysmorphia that comes out of nowhere. It's, like, a
I
slow
feel like
process. So
I feel like a lot of people have these anorexic tendencies the way I'm defining them, but the thing that
mm,
keeps it from being unhealthy is like socially they'll eat and like that's healthy for people. They have a balance, but then if you take away their social life and they're just isolated and they're alone, then they're just gonna just like go further and further into it.
yeah, and that might be what was going on. I know that, when my mental health was really bad during COVID, if my husband hadn't been feeding me, and if he didn't feed me pretty regularly to this day, like, I wouldn't eat,
Hmm.
um, I would, but because there's a way that where you become, like, weaker the less that you eat,
Hmm.
so I get, like, stuck in the bed with, but I still have been pretty reluctant to call myself anorexic because it seems like that's something I shouldn't take away from anorexic people. But then also it could be like a denialism. I'm not anorexic. It's like, listen, I
Yeah,
haven't like broached 90 pounds in a while. Maybe I'm anorexic. But I'm
yeah,
not anorexic the way a 6 foot person who is 86 pounds is anorexic.
right. But you do. I think you're anorexic. You're just anorexic. I mean, I am anorexic sometimes. Right now I'm definitely not. I want to do more fasting. So I want to get more close to that line, which may or may not be healthy.
Hmm.
But I think it's important. I think it's a healthy attitude to just my you can disagree, but I just think it's a healthy attitude to like kind of bite that bullet and be honest with yourself to and like cuz that will like protect you. Like as long as you keep telling yourself it's not anorexia is like the longer it takes you to like get your shit together, you know what I mean? Like
Fair enough. Yeah, true. So in the same sense, well, I have OCD. In the same sense that it's not wise to suddenly say I don't have OCD just because I'm having a good time recently, because it's a tendency that exists and can become exacerbated if it's not monitored. You're saying it would be appropriate to like label yourself anorexic if you know you have the tendencies, or like say you have anorexic tendencies. Shatter said anorexia is the fear and avoidance of fat entirely. It's not. It's not just not eating.
right.
Shatter is anorexic, by the way.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess it's more of a PC thing where I didn't want to take the title of anorexia onto myself because I've never suffered with it the way that people who have severe disease do. But when I was researching, it seems like those case studies were included as well. The severity of the disease doesn't really, it does impact whether you ever get a diagnosis, but
Yeah.
um,
Or treatment. Yeah,
yeah,
because there are people that I've known people that wanted treatment but they couldn't get it
why not?
because they weren't bad enough.
Yeah, I don't think a doctor would tell me I'm anorexic.
Right. But what if you needed help? You just have to suffer until you become weak enough.
I've I've gone to doctors about my quote unquote anorexia before, and they've been like, I don't know. I've had doctors tell me I should be vegan. Well, my experience of veganism was like starvation and anorexia.
Hmm.
I don't think we have a ton of disagreement here, really.
Yeah. All right. I just you did so much research, so I
I
mean,
did so much research. It
I
just
feel
taught
like
me how bad it is, how bad
yeah.
the disease is. Basically, the mortality rates are,
Hmm.
I think, like 40 times that for the comparative demographic.
We can probably
Like
loop
women
back
in.
into this
Okay.
with the other topics.
Yeah.
So I how did this you were talking about making an OnlyFans on your stream. You were saying that you wanted
Hmm.
to do it, and that nobody ever gives you a
Hmm.
good argument as why not to do it. And so I
Yeah.
was like, oh shit, like I wanna be that person. I wanna tell you not to do it because I think that the arguments you were saying are bad and you weren't getting a good one. Um, that led to DMs. And you said that you were like an exhibitionist, and somehow
Hmm.
I flirted with you, and I don't know how I did it, but it
I
was
flirted
smooth.
with you too.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was smooth.
It was smooth. Yeah, well, because you reciprocated, um, and I sent you my porn Twitter,
Hmm.
and you liked it, and
Followed.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I said, "You're adorable."
yes. So after that, I after like a couple days, and like I think I'd gone into your stream again. Um, well, I have a girlfriend and you're married. So I was like, okay, so we flirted. You looked at my porn, and so I was like, okay, so what is the boundaries here? Because I'm not in an open relationship. Like we have like we're open to maybe like flirting or sexting people, but very uh, carefully, very carefully. Um, so I wanted to have that conversation with you. I told you that I do want to see you nude, but also I want to have like boundaries with you. And but
Yeah.
I didn't set a hard boundary, but I said I want to like I didn't really set a hard boundary. Um,
Shatter says I don't enter a streamer's DMs without immediately sending nudes.
that's one strategy because I mean the streamers that'll remain in your friend list. I mean, um,
Jesus.
that's
Like
probably
I guess there's
probably
a
not a good
joke
strategy.
between me and no, I don't think it's a good strategy at all. And we'll talk more about that. But like the joke between me and Rampage Paul is that we exchange nudes and we're like crazy in the DMs. But I've like had maybe 2 DMs with Paul and they're all like, "Hey, we should do React content together." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, we should do that." But it's it's my way of satirizing like how female streamers are like sex workers to everybody first and foremost, like first blush impression, like
Yeah.
wow, Whammon streams, like she's a sex object. Well, Whammon exists, she is a sex object, but like I must be able to get some content from her somehow. And how that, like, I
Mm.
have been approached in DMs by a lot of people
I
for
feel
content.
I feel like you're framing it as content. I don't see it that
Hmm.
way. But I do agree. Female streamers are very much, and male streamers too. It's all different degrees, but women are just sexual objects socially. We lock
Yeah.
them into that role in life, and being a female
Yeah.
streamer, that inherent, socially inherent sexuality that comes with being a woman is now on the burden on your back of being visible as a streamer and talking to people. I don't think it's
Yeah.
content when people. I wouldn't call it content when people want to do that, DM you and stuff. What I would say is what they want is intimacy.
Yeah.
However they fail about going out, however much they fail at actually being intimate, what they need and are looking for is intimacy. Men in particular.
Yeah. Um, but they, yes. Well, I guess there people are individuals, so I'm like thinking about individual like encounters I've had, and but to some degree, it's a desire for intimacy, even if they're very afraid of intimacy.
Yeah.
Um, but it but it also involves me providing sexual content, or they request sexual content. They
Mm-hmm.
like it. They would appreciate it if I involved that in the intimacy. So it isn't just emotional intimacy.
It's confusing.
It
It's confusing being a man
Yeah, why?
because of those two things. Um, it's just confusing being horny. I think about it once in a while.
And also being scared to be intimate, but also deeply desiring to be intimate. Um,
It
and
just
also sort of objectifying the object of your intimacy in a way that can dehumanize them and then suddenly not wanting them anymore after you've used them up, or they didn't make you feel
they
they
didn't
weren't
give
your
you the
mommy, right?
they didn't give you the intimacy you wanted because you weren't being intimate
Somehow,
because you weren't being intimate with them.
right? Because
So
sending
you
content isn't the same as being intimate.
yeah.
And being objectified isn't necessarily the best way to like invoke intimacy in the first place if it doesn't flow naturally from a connection.
I think it can I think it's a relationship. Objectification has a role in a sexual relationship. We're all objects to
Yes.
each other in a way, and
Yes.
women are by de facto given the role of the sex object, and men are given the
And
role
to
of
be
the.
fair, I enjoy being a sex object.
Well, I do too. I'm gonna steal it from you. You'll never be able to be a sex object again after I've conquered the world.
The issue actually is that I could in a second monetize being a sex object. And
Right.
why aren't I?
Yeah, and I can't in an instant.
Well, you'll have to go join a boy band or
But I
something.
I,
You'll
I
have
would.
to.
I would.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a sex.
would.
I mean, I'm all sexy on my screen right now. To some extent, I'm a sex object.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
but but yeah. If one of the
Sex worker
reasons
just like me, Smith.
one of the reasons that I'm very when I hear you say that you want to make an OnlyFans and like that, and I'm like, I I want to stop you is because it would be very easy for me to do the same, and I would want someone to stop me because if I so in posting nudes, and I've sold a couple. Like I've had DMs and people are like, "Oh, could you do this for me?" And I've taken the pictures. And the difference between doing it for free and just expressing myself like sexually, like however I want, and having
Mm-hmm.
like a request and like a DM and like a private with someone's like desires, the difference is so extreme
I,
of how that
I think the
feels.
difference would be doing it with a stranger
Yeah.
for strictly as a monetary exchange
Yeah.
without any sort of human touch.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It is
that's
very
where I
weird.
think it could be cold and chilling. Uh, so that's something I consider when I think about this. But I went and bought a bunch of witchcraft books yesterday actually, and one of them was on sex magic. And I learned in that book that witches used to do sex work, but that their sex work would be like prescriptive for like ailments. Like, so say a man comes to me and he's like, I'm lonely. I might prescribe like a sexual spell for him. And we might perform it together, or he might perform it alone, or he might just watch me do something, or might have
Jerk
him do
off
something himself.
instructions.
Yes, yes. So it's sex work, but there's a human touch.
Hmm.
And I had never thought of that as a possibility.
I think that there's a lot of potential there, and I'm really into the idea of like sex therapy. I don't
Mm,
think we're there yet, but I think it's really cool idea. But it's also dangerous.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So I would be like inventing the wheel if I decided I wanted to open like Nax Witch sex shop on
Okay.
OnlyFans and start prescribing sex spells for people, uh,
And
and I would
you'd have
probably have a
fun with
lot of
it,
bad experiences. Yeah, I
but
would have
you
fun, and
think you'd have fun. You'd think you'd have fun.
well, I think I would have fun, but I
Yeah.
think I'd also have pain. And I'm having pain being a streamer too, but I think it's worth it and ultimately makes me happier overall.
Good. I want you to. I'm trying to get you to fight back. Good. Good. Okay. Because I really want you to. Because I'm gonna tell you not to do it. I'm gonna do. Yeah. 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 So.
I like when she fights back.
Yeah.
I will
You
fight you.
you told me that, or I don't know if you told me or you said on your stream. We were talking about you recently like left the Mormon Church, and
Yes,
you had kind of gone through a couple of cults, right?
lots of cults.
Of sorts. Yeah. And now you're like reclaiming your sexuality.
And I got taken advantage of by, I would say, mm, some men in the wake of that. Uh, I mean, men have been a part of the experience of being in and leaving the Mormon church and Christianity in general the whole way through, not just in the wake of it, not just like slurping up my remains after I've been decimated by this spiritual experience. Uh, like you were talking about this, the well, I don't know if you want me to share this, but like the vulnerability thing, men
Yeah.
desiring vulnerability, and I was vulnerable, and that's attractive, because it's like I
Yeah.
could achieve intimacy with this woman because she is vulnerable.
You are
Um,
vulnerable.
I am currently vulnerable, right? Not as vulnerable as I was. Definitely. I don't think that means I can't consent, and I don't think it was wrong for me to explore my sexuality. I think it was wrong that I didn't let myself masturbate for years.
Yeah.
But I am horrified by the way that these men treated me
Mhm.
once they had sexual access. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't understand that, and it makes me sad. It makes me. I told you, like, I never want to sex with anyone again. Like, like
Mhm.
I don't want to go outside of the safe bubble I've created of people who I already feel comfortable talking to. So it's not like I'm not going to be able to express my sexuality more anymore when I say that. But I am saying, like, I don't think I want to open up sexting to any new people or open up my body to any new people or
Mhm.
even I still want to be able to be emotionally vulnerable to people. And I even want to seriously consider whether I should be monetizing my body before it expires. But I'm going to be so much more careful. Yeah.
But you're being less careful.
Glenn, what?
I don't know, being more careful and then just going into making an OnlyFans. I don't know. It's a little bit
Hmm. Okay, fair enough.
something
But
that you
there would be
told
a
me.
different barrier. Hmm.
Well, you definitely would have to make some very strong boundaries and know exactly what those are and make those very clear. Um,
Yes.
Something you told me that I found harrowing was you said that you would walk into church when you were a Mormon and you felt like you were a sex worker just being in church.
Hmm. It was. I was. Um, and I wore the clothing that you're supposed to wear as a woman in a Mormon church. I had long sleeves, and I didn't wear like I wore a bra that was like modest,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just. I guess I have a waist. There's nothing I can do about that. But like but then it would be a full skirt. It would go to my ankles. Uh, I dressed more modestly than some of like I could have been the most modest woman in that room in terms of what I was wearing, but there was a lot of attention on me because I was young, I was a convert, and I was well spoken, and I and as part of your experience in the Mormon church, you participate in callings. I taught Sunday school to the youth. And so in the Mormon church, you're never allowed to be alone with children. So there would be, and because I was a woman teaching Sunday school, the men, well, and also because the men do everything in the church because it's patriarchal, 2 men would be assigned to watch me teach every Sunday school lesson.
Mm.
And so it was a performance of like biblical femininity to just go to church and to teach Sunday school, to go up to the pulpit and give my testimony during fasting testimony, to feel the Holy Spirit was a performance of biblical femininity and of sexuality, I would argue.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just this undeniable sense that I was porn
Mm-hmm.
for the men there. And some of them became handsy and in ways that were seen as friendly, right? But definitely were like, I've gotten to touch the thing that I wanted to touch.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of powerful, so I get to keep touching. And I remember one time he grabbed me, and so there was another man there and saw, and I turned and I couldn't stop my expression from being angry. Because I was tired and I was angry
Mm-hmm.
that he grabbed me all of a sudden. And I gave him a curt response to get him to let go. And he let me go. And he started like averting his eyes when I looked at him after that, when he would observe me in Sunday school. But I could tell he was waiting for me to open up to him again. And I stopped going to church.
Mm.
Bro's married. I'm married. But that there is this history of polygamy inside Mormonism.
Yeah.
This history that like we are actually all open to each other sexually, potentially. And our church does not see anything morally wrong in desiring multiple women. It'd be wrong for a woman to desire multiple men, unless her husband was dead, but that he wants me, right? God doesn't think is wrong. And so what would prohibit him from coveting me, right? Except that I am myself married. I don't know. I think the bedrock of Mormonism is hypersexual.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course, the underwear. The underwear, the soaking, the like the it's like chastity in itself. Like saying you can't masturbate is an incredibly sexual thing.
Yes,
It
yes.
makes your life a really sexual experience to not
Uh-huh.
masturbate. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
masturbate, everything is sexual now.
Your clothes on your
Brushing your
nipples,
teeth, yeah, brushing your
your
teeth, like
underwear, brushing your
yeah,
teeth,
yeah.
looking
There's
at
some
your own body
famously
naked.
some woman that used to get orgasms from brushing her teeth.
What? Who?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I've something I heard about. There's like some woman that like brushing her
It-
teeth.
it-
What? You cut out. What did you say? Something? You said based?
she never got flat out. The connection's kind of crapping.
All right, you're back. You're back. Interesting
Am
about
I
the
back?
connection. Yeah, but your face keeps getting blurry, which is interesting because I would say
It
that
does?
yeah, it does. It's off and on, but at least for
Mm.
me. But it's like it's taking away your sexual objectification. So.
Wow. Well, I want to be a sexual object. That's not good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We gotta sex you up.
That's what I want. Well, so yeah, and I do want that.
Hmm.
I just don't want these negative consequences. I'd like to customize it for myself so that I don't have to deal with harassment, with like
But that touch,
the
that
underside of male
that
desire.
yeah, yes, okay. I don't think that you making an only. I think that there's a way for you to have a sexual like liberation that is so much better than OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is so I get the feeling that you and most women, I just believe this, and I'm right. Most women are traumatized by the fact that we force them to be sex objects in a lot of way, and it has a lot of implications socially to men and to women. And
Puberty was hell, for sure.
right, and when you talked about that, like being in church and that the way you just described it now in detail, just being a sexual object, being observed, you were performing that feminine role, like you said. Um,
While at the same time, like trying really hard not to be sexual.
okay, that might be different then, but I was going to say making an OnlyFans is diving headfirst into everything that sucks about being a woman, in my opinion.
How so?
You couldn't make OnlyFans wouldn't exist if we didn't treat women like sex slaves. When OnlyFans first started, like when it was like 2016 or something, I was using Instagram a lot, and I would follow some pretty girls. And then when that OnlyFans started, like 80% of these girls, these women, got an OnlyFans all of a sudden. I was like, oh shit! All these women that I had followed, I could see them nude, and the ones that didn't, I remember having this little like a disgusting feeling, like that I was self-aware of, like, why not you? What's wrong? Why couldn't you have done it? Why can't I see you nude, huh? You're obviously a sex object on your pictures. Why can't I see you nude? Um, and it just you're, if not in a personal way, in a social way, you're reinforcing the very thing that is so traumatic to women, even if it was liberating. But I think even then, you're going to be subjected to the desires of men in a way that is not you truly expressing your sexuality. It's going to be, yeah. You hear what
But
I'm
can't I
saying?
make it an artistic experience? Like do my brujeria thing that I was thinking about, my like
Yeah.
sex work, witchcraft workshop, or even just be artistic in doing so and not just bend to the whims of like the desire of clientele. Like decide that I'm going to make my my OnlyFans kind of creepy and weird and sexualized in what I want it to be as an art form, but still fuck men by charging them money instead of putting it up for free on Instagram because I so deeply desire male validation that I am willing to put it out there for free because I need someone to tell me I'm pretty. Like now make money off of that. Now it be something that supports me and provides financial independence.
Make money off of the fact that you've been brainwashed to need men to tell you you're pretty.
Make money off of the fact that men have objectified me and there is no way for me to escape it, not even within my own mind.
Well, I there is definitely not a way to escape it within your own mind, but you can escape it outside of your mind.
If
You're
it's in
gonna
my mind, there's no way to escape it.
Yeah, but it,
If it's part of how I derive value in and of myself as a human being, because I don't like myself as much
mhm.
when men don't find me attractive, there's no way for me to escape. I
I
used to
th-
live as an ugly woman to try and escape it. I lived most of my life
mhm.
as an ugly woman to try and escape it, and it didn't work. Maybe it worked at
But you were
times
but
when I
that's
pretended it was working, but
but that's not
I
the real solution to your problem. The real solution to
was
your
the
problem.
solution to my problem.
Well, I wouldn't have said that if I wasn't gonna fucking tell you. So the real
I just
solution,
like the sound of my own voice, Smith.
the real solution to your problem is you can't solve this by. I mean, you take everything I fucking say with a grain of salt because I'm not you or whatever. But I believe everything I'm saying.
Okay.
You cannot just make yourself ugly to stop people from objectifying you, because then they're just not commodifying you. You need to be yourself, just however you want, however you look, and have someone, not changing yourself to change how other people treat you. No, you need to actually find people that treat you the way you need to be treated without changing yourself. Because if you change yourself to get treatment from people like that you think you deserve, if you're changing yourself to get that, you're not actually getting it. Like,
Yeah, it's false.
yeah, that's why I told you after hearing about this Mormon stuff that I don't want to have a sexting or sexual relationship with you, because I think it would be bad for you. I think that I would rather just be friends with you. I think that would be good for you. And I have a girlfriend. I don't need that shit. I don't need to worry about these boundaries at all. And I feel guilty for even sexualizing you at all, because we can be good friends, and I don't think that that would be good for you.
I think that you're right that it is better for us to like when you said that, like we didn't need to have that relation. Not that I felt pressured or even thought we were gonna have this sexual relationship, because I hadn't really meant to hit on you. Um, I had meant to like participate in your art, really.
Interesting.
And
Yeah,
I do like your art.
I did misread, but you may have miscommunicated. But also,
For sure.
I definitely own that too. Like you're giving me a pass. You're giving me a pass. You gave me a pass earlier. I thought of this when you were talking, but you gave me a pass by saying, "Well, I flirted with you too." You don't need to do that. I'm fully willing to own going out on a limb and flirting with someone, and you don't need to save me. Like I'll own that. Like and in me doing that, it put pressure. I could have persisted, and maybe I could have been successful. Um, and I think that I want to make like talk about this publicly, like to any guys that are watching this, like the persisting, the pushing, like you're you need to, with the intimacy that you desire when you do that, is you're destroying it and you're hurting people.
When people don't listen to boundaries, you mean? Like what exactly are you saying to
Well, you
men?
didn't set a boundary. I set it.
No. Yeah.
But I got the hint that there should be a boundary. And I think a lot of guys will pick up on like cues and stuff like that, and they'll just ignore it. But she smiled at me, but whatever, but like, oh, but she's like, she's nice to me, whatever. And I think that you need to, if you want to truly have a connection with someone, you can't just be trying to look at the signals for why they like you. You have to actually be thinking about what is good for them. And
Mm.
your dick is going to be good for somebody, and like, I'm not telling you to cuck yourself all the time. I'm not telling you to be a coward. You can go on a limb and flirt with people, but like, just like, while you're flirting with people, you need to be conscientious of what's actually happening between the two people.
I choked on water.
Yeah.
My dad in Home Depot one time, a lady told him like where we could find something. Sorry, I swallowed air and water wrong.
Mm-hmm.
A lady told him where we could find something. I was a kid. My dad also like background information. My dad raised me too. Eurasian heathen says flirting is haram. I agree. I flirt a lot. My dad then turned to me after she smiled at him and gave us directions that she was flirting with him and that she wanted him. I was a little girl. My dad turned to me and said, like, she wants me. Because like I replaced a lot of my dad's need for like female intimacy and like conversational intimacy and friendship intimacy, because he didn't have a partner. He was raising me as a single dad. And I was like all he had because he was not good at maintaining friendships.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this like inappropriate relationship where he kind of like taught me to be a misogynist for, you know, interactions he had with women, the way he talked about women. But like he really believed because that woman smiled and was friendly while she did her job that she wanted him. That just occurred to me when you were talking about men thinking about the cues from women and flirting as being, you know, and then going hard into she
It's
wants
not.
me.
It's not like I think it doesn't start as she wants me. I think it's like that's an in, and that in turns into she wants me,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe vice versa. I don't know, but like it's the same thing.
Listen, I want men. Like, it's not that I don't want men and I don't enjoy sexual advances. I told you, like, it was flattering that you told me that you wanted to see me nude. I I like that I have a body that men want to see. I enjoy validation from men. Women who can't get validation from men catfish men online to get it regardless because it's almost like a part of like the hierarchy of needs that we have as human beings to
Well,
have like
well, men do this too, and women hate it because of the social relationship between men and women. Um, that's why I think it's also as much as we can criticize men, I think we need to be empathetic of the situation because I think that men are just so starved of intimacy. Um, and
I think people are starved of intimacy, but men, especially from the statistics in psychology, it seems like are starved of intimacy because they overly rely on their intimate partners for intimacy and don't have like friendship networks that support them in the wake of divorce or
yeah,
breakup.
I have a theory. I think that the intimacy that men need with other men is undermined by no homo. Um, where like women are comfortable being like really obviously sexual with each other and they'll just pretend it isn't, but they're obviously being sexual with each other. Oh, like
Yeah.
feel my boob. Oh, you know, like whatever. Like men, the boundaries men have with other men are because like we're afraid to be a little bit gay with each other. And it
Mm-hmm.
would be gay, but and I think the
Gays,
and
pretty gays.
you go down the line, I think that the reason that men are afraid to be gay with each other is the same reason that women are afraid of men. I think that we just don't
Mm.
we're afraid of sexualizing men in general.
I
Like
think you're afraid of male violence.
true. Well that's different. What I'm talking about I think that's also a thing, but there's these two things. But I think what I'm saying is another thing. I think that like to sexualize a man like so okay so you're talking about going head first you this is all theory now you're talking about going head first into the sexual objectification that women have. You're like, oh, at least I should get money from it. If you were to go out and just
I
active
almost want to explore it as an art project. I almost
that
want
sounds
to
interesting.
ruin myself in the deep dive of what it's like to split myself open for this. I didn't get to do it. I've only been with one person. I
Mm-hmm.
performed ugly woman, no gender woman for most of my life and went hard into intellectualism. This is how I'm going to be valued. This is how I'm going to find worth and meaning and depth and purpose. And I'm glad that I did that. I'm not glad that like I had a bunch of sexual trauma from childhood that prevented me from being comfortable being sexual and prevented me from exploring in relationships and uh, getting really, really tied up in one person to the point where I could like just, you know, like I've basically been married since I was 19. I want to mess with my camera. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Um, yeah, uh, it might not work, so I'm just gonna not do that actually. Um, but I've written poetry about this. Like, so when I left the Mormon church, part of it was that I was chased out by being sexualized there. Part of it was I was a hypocrite. because I smoked pot because it was the only way for me to manage my OCD. I hadn't smoked for years and my OCD had just like worsened incredibly. It would have been really helpful for me if I could have smoked pot during the pandemic to help with my OCD. And I couldn't because I was Christian and God had told me not to smoke pot. I literally felt the voice of God tell me one time when I had a panic attack in my bedroom in Santa Cruz that I should never, why am I doing something that hurts me is what I thought I heard. Because when you're Christian, you're kind of taught that your intuition is the voice of God. That sudden, poignant, profound thoughts are the voice of God instead of just like your soul's guidance system reaching out to you to help you make a good decision. And maybe there's no functional difference between the two, but I think I would just say I don't think it's useful to think that you're hearing God's voice and that he's telling you things and you have to obey it or else you're not a good person. To understand it as your own intuition and a guiding system is much healthier because that can be revised and isn't something you have to obey. It's something that you're right. So that's
you can dissect it.
Yes. You don't have to just belly up, allow it to be a controller. I let that prevent me from smoking pot for years to my detriment mentally. And I forgot where I was going with this. Like, oh, that was part of why I was a hypocrite. I started smoking pot again. And it was just like, I forgot how much it helped and allowed me to be like a functional human being. So I was secretly smoking pot. And then I told the church that I was smoking pot. And so I couldn't enter the temple anymore. Like no hope of ever like going through those sacred procedures and ceremonies unless I quit smoking pot, which I knew at that point God didn't want me to not smoke pot because how could God want me to not be healthy mentally and doing better? So I started to question church authority, but then I also had an emotional affair with a man online, which started on Instagram because I started like, and I wasn't even trying to turn myself into a sex object. I didn't wear makeup when I took these photos.
Men are heat-seeking intimacy missiles that need women, and if you go online, like
even when they have girlfriends, dog.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and I'm one to talk. I have a husband, but yeah, there's just like a void inside me that can never be filled, and I put male validation inside of it, and it's never enough. And I kind of want to explore that. I understand it's like maybe not good, but it's like the new frontier of my soul searching or my art. A lot of my poetry recently is about this.
But I just think that monetizing that is really dangerous. Your idea about the I don't believe in witchy stuff, okay, but so
I don't, I don't believe it either, but it's
you're
fun.
Witchy, okay, you're witchy, you're feminist witch. That sounds interesting. That sounds fun.
Just like
your feminist
spirituality
witch porn.
I control.
Feminist witch porn. Your feminist witch porn idea sounds fun and creative. But
yeah,
I've had a lot of women say that too. That it's just like a creative thing.
Yes, it is. It's art.
But
witchcraft is just art, and magic is. Well, magic is real, but magic is not what people think it is.
I would be very careful not to. Okay, so like OnlyFans is a specific thing, Most people that I talked to some OnlyFans creators in preparation for this. Most people that go into OnlyFans make dog shit money, and
Yes, that's my concern.
I talked to some people. They said that some of the most beautiful women they've ever met don't make shit. Women that are way more beautiful than them just don't make anything.
Yeah,
And
that doesn't surprise me. That was like my big worry. That's why I'm like actually waiting to do it until I have more visibility. And then,
right, but I'm trying to tell you something.
okay,
Okay, the women that succeed, this is the women that succeed are the ones that are extra vulnerable and slot themselves in. So you have this artistic vision for what you want to do, and you want to get paid for it, and you have this brilliant idea, you want to express yourself. I think that's great, and I think that's actually cool. I'm actually really pro porn. I'm really pro sexual creativity. But the standard way OnlyFans works is the girlfriend experience. OnlyFans is, you can look at porn all you want, but you want intimacy. Men that go on OnlyFans, like so I'm on Instagram and I'm like 21 or whatever the fuck, and these girls I thought were pretty, they make an OnlyFans. That doesn't mean that I just mean that I get to see them nude. It means I get to like see them nude and interact with them nude. So I get to message them. It's like this person that I see as a real human being, not like a porn star, like a real human being. Now I see a real human being. Like it's like someone like being in school, and like imagine you could just wear X-ray goggles and like see the real human beings around you is like sexual, and like see their bodies. Like it's taking away those boundaries, and that you're going to have to set some really strong boundaries so that they are paying for your experience that you're providing, and you're not going to be in it for their experience. That's
it will
going to be,
necessarily be colored by their desire and interaction, and that would be
yeah,
part of the art piece. So that would be part of how it evolves and grows and
it's
changes,
dangerous.
and even how I explore it. By why is it dangerous?
That sounds fun in theory and really sexy, but
yes,
but you know why things, and I know you agree, you know why things sound sexy? Because they're dangerous.
They're a little scary.
Because they're dangerous.
They're a little scary.
I know you agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It definitely feels better when I masturbate with the window open, when like the drapes are open. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't really want some pervy neighbor to be looking at me, it helps. I have a huge like thing about like one day I really, really want to have sex in public. I know that I'm probably never going to, but I would love it. I would love it in an alley up against the bricks. You know what I mean?
I swear to God.
What?
You're gonna attract so much fucking attention with this. Don't fucking. Jesus fucking.
Whose attention? Jesus. This is kind of how I am. It's kind of part of my personality. Yeah. I don't know. I think part of me always wanted male validation, even though I existed in like obstinate opposition to it, because I resented how women made themselves stupid for men, how they would put on the voice when men came around. Do you notice how a woman, you maybe don't know this because you're a man, maybe you do, her voice changes when he comes in the room. It goes higher, it sounds stupider. She doesn't have as many ideas, she isn't as critical, she is not as keen to like stand in opposition to an idea that's been presented. She likes things that he says when she didn't like the thing that you said that was the exact same thing. I had this experience in college in a group in a literature class on neo-Victorian literature, where we were literally reading erotica and studying it. My female group member said something, and then the other female group member shits all over it. just fucking nasty and totally like not even based. Like it's just a bad take. And then the male group member echoes what the first female said exactly. And the second woman says, yeah, 100. Like, yeah, amazing. Like, oh.
Yeah. This is not, maybe to your surprise, but it is a fucking fact. This is not inherent to women. Men are absolutely like this, except we get it beaten out of us because those men fail.
Other men.
Because no, not other men. It's women. Because women despise those men, and they despise those men. I was trying to say this earlier, but you interrupted me with your woman shit. Women like so women are in short term very empowered by their sexual objectification role, and that they want that experience you're talking about. Let's turn this off.
In the alley?
No, they want that experience of quivering their lip and it's a man, and acting like all they want to get all giddy, and they want to be they want to be swooning, and men needs to swallow that and never swoon.
We want to swoon for a man who deserves it, I guess. But
I want to, so that is an experience that women have. If you were to allow men to do that for you, it would be disenfranchising because you would be losing the benefits of your sexual objectification, and you'd still be a woman. So you'd be getting none of the perks of being a man, but you'd be losing all the perks of being a woman. So
you mean simps? You mean milady?
Yeah.
It's not hot for sure. It's not hot.
Yeah,
doesn't make you wet.
Yeah. I know. Actually, that's not what I was picturing in my head. Like my lady is like a demented form, like someone who's tried to fix the true simpness, but they tried to fix it in the worst, stupidest way, where they try to act confident. They're like milady, but like the real.
I had like a vision of like a zombie milady guy like limping along, one leg doesn't move. Milady.
Yeah, but what I'm really talking about, what I'm imagining in my head when I say this, is like a teenage boy. His voice cracks, like he walks up to a woman, like the same experience you're talking about, being in the classroom, whatever. But like a guy gets criticism from another guy, and he's like, "Oh, fuck you." But then a girl gives him the same criticism. He's like, "Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right." Oh, and then his voice changes. His voice cracks. He's like, he gets like, oh, like, it's like, he's like, oh, I'm bashful.
It's actually really scary when men do that.
Yes.
I get freaked out.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Like it tends to chill up my spine, actually.
Yes.
And I don't know why.
I think it's because, like, I'm telling you why I think it is. I know. I'm telling you my theory. I strongly believe this. I think it's because if men are like that, they're taking from you the thing that empowers you from being a woman. And if you were to, I know why.
No, what's happening is it's not that he's taking away maybe part of it. All right, hold on. Part of it might be that he takes away, but he's taking away my ability to be attracted to him when he does that. I think he has played his cards, right?
Right.
I am submissive to you, is what he's saying.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can control me.
Yes.
And I don't want to control you.
Yeah.
I would like you
to control me.
To be kind of.
Kind
of. But I don't want you to abuse me. I want you to be like, I'm so sorry. And like, this isn't a prescription for how you should behave or how you should act, blah, blah, blah,
no,
blah.
We're talking about how
I'm
we feel.
A feminist. But yeah, like, I think this is how dynamics between men and women can become really abusive, why women can become really abusive, or why I was abusive in my relationship with my husband, who is more submissive.
Yeah. So men are have to cultivate in order to find success with women. Either they're just kind of abusive from the beginning and then they just succeed, but they have to cultivate this paternal kind of attitude towards sex, where they treat women like children, and like so that women can like have that like looking up to a man swooning, and they know what they want and they know how to get it. And when the woman is all submissive and sexually servitude gives him her sexual servitude is sexually is there, oh, there's other fucking words.
There's a lot of S's going on right now. Wait, I said this on a
Smeth.
WIC panel. I want to be thrown, Smith. I want to be thrown on the bed and railed, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" The guy on the voice chat sounded like he fucking dropped something. WIC was like, "God damn it!" This huge reaction that occurs when I just talk about I have intense sexual desire,
Yeah.
and it is to be dominated sexually.
Right.
It's not in opposition to my feminist drive either, and how I'm so forceful as a personality, so forceful in interpersonal relationships, and I will argue with you, etc. But like sexually, there is nothing better than the idea that he would be in control and take from me and use me and desire specific things from me that I would perform for him, and that I would do it well enough to
Yeah.
please him.
In my experience, I learned how to be like what you're saying is hot.
100, 100.
I
I need a soundboard so I can play Paris Hilton saying "that's hot" every time you talk about this kind of thing, because it comes up a lot on my stream.
every man that is like me who's got this will imagine throwing you on the bed when you say that. And then I want to say this: every guy, if there's guys listening to this and they like hit you up after this, those are fucking insane men. Okay, don't fucking talk to those like those people like they're hearing you say this and like that means that I can take advantage of you. So um
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
my recent experience has helped me to realize I should not. Well, but I've had people
just
slide into the DMs and they become very good friends. It's
yeah,
just I
sure.
never. How come I'm not good at telling? Like, how come I'm so easily fooled? How come I
Because
believe you?
being easily fooled is part of the fantasy.
Whose fantasy? My fan.
Yours. Your woman fantasy. Your woman fantasy where your woman
Ooh,
fantasy where
boo.
you wanna become all bashful and you wanna stop thinking. You wanna change your voice and you wanna that stopping thinking is why I think you don't have a judgment. But I was gonna say you have to, unless you're just naturally a domineering person that just naturally put your fingers in every crack to get like whatever you can out of everybody around you. You have, as a man, you have to develop and cultivate this paternal attitude towards women, where their experience, like it's not like a
So you're performing masculinity for us. You're all
yeah
and we're performing femininity for you. Like
yes
we're feeling out the desires of the opposite gender and performing it for each other, and then being hypercritical of the fact that we do it.
yeah.
Women are hypercritical of other women for doing it. Men are hypercritical of other men for doing it.
But there's a
Yeah, like it's a
true
policing of gender performance based upon male and female desire.
yeah, and I think that like
I want
the
to bite this
way
pizza. Can I do that?
go yeah fucking I don't fucking care. Why are you asking
You
me?
don't stream a lot. I never.
Asking me for permission to eat your fucking pizza. Why don't you spit that out right now?
Throw me on the bed though.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I promise,
uh,
like, I probably did flirt with you.
I know.
Um, I I didn't mean to like throw you a bone, but I also didn't know that I was. I also I also am not aware fully of how much I'm flirting because I always had bro relationship with guys, and it didn't matter that I was sexual. It almost seemed to disgust them if I like. It would never engender a reciprocal sexual desire if I spoke openly about like if I just let myself be. Um, and so now that I'm like performing femininity in a way that it does invoke reciprocal desire, like I kind of like don't even care. It's just fun to press the button.
Hmm.
Um, maybe that's inappropriate, but I enjoy that way of communicating, and I'm not fully aware that it would really that you'd be imagining throwing me on the bed. I'm just, I guess, I enjoy being provocative, and I enjoy that I can talk about sex now. It's not like doesn't make me a
Mhm.
bad person. It doesn't make me a bad woman.
You're extra
Um,
vulnerable.
hmm, that's hot. Making OnlyFans, she's vulnerable. What a great time to sell intimacy, but I'm vulnerable and I can be invaded like a vacuum. And I'm being ironic, but kind of, right? If what you're saying, Tanya says, God damn it, Nag. Okay. If part of what you're selling when you make an OnlyFans is the girlfriend experience, which some men really, really hate OnlyFans girls for doing and feel like we're taking advantage of men, I think you have the opinion.
Well, like no, like I was saying, or like you just articulated better than I did, um, which often happens when I talk, because I'm just not a very verbal person. But
I think you are. I
you,
think you are more verbal than you give yourself credit for.
thank you. But we're performing for each other, and
Hell yeah.
when a woman does the OnlyFans girlfriend experience, men hate that because of how it affects men. But the women do that because of
But they
how
want it.
no, when women do that because of the expectations men have, and so like it's a cycle. Like the behavior that women do that men hate is because of how men treat them, and the behavior that men do that women hate, I think, is because of how women treat them, and it's a cycle
Why
of
do they hate
perform.
it? They want
Um,
it. Why do they hate it? I'm not supposed to create an OnlyFans, but please send me bobs.
they hate it because they hate their role. So
Oh, they feel subservient.
yes, no, like no, it's just they hate the dynamic fucking sucks. To come even just in the first place, so we're performing this role for each other, and to just commodify that, to make it it's such a chilling thing that all like human sexuality is moving towards this like financial gatekeeping avenue, which has always been the case in the relationship between men and women. Women will
We're owned. We were owned.
yeah, you were owned,
We were literally bought
so your
as sex
selection,
slaves,
as in
domestic intimacy
sure,
slaves.
but as if you go far back enough, it's like that. But like in the short period of time
Pretty recently.
where women had selective options, it was the case where you're in any case, even if the parents are choosing for the daughter, you're going to be picking men for the more money. Like the deal the woman gets is she gets taken care of, she gets money, whatever, and that's you sell your body, whatever, and that's what you get. And now it's still the same thing with OnlyFans. You're still getting money for your sexuality and your intimacy. You're like it's still the same thing in a much more Uber app gigafied. It's like gigafied intimacy. And it's even like worse. At least when you're fucking doing the sex slave shit, at least you have a committed partner. It's at least you have someone
Hmm.
who's like signed a contract to be there for you. Like as bad as it was, there's lots of downsides, but at least you had someone that had to fucking be there for you. And
And that you could never escape.
yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, with the OnlyFans thing, like you were already admitted you can never escape this sexual role, this fucking woman role, this shit. You can never
But
escape
I
it.
can,
Even in your own mind, you can't escape it. But there's no one committed to you in
and so I should
OnlyFans.
explore it.
No one
No, there's
has,
no
no one
one.
get, no, people give less of a shit about you. I think if you want to be a sex, like this is not about your experience, but in general, if you want to be a sex worker in the way that you want to get the most profit out of your sexual objectification, the best way to do it is get hitched to a rich man, because at least rich man that loves you. And then I resent this deeply. I'm not going to fucking make money for some woman. No, I want a woman that fucking loves me without the money. But if you want to get the most money out of your sexual objectification, out of your subservience to men as you can, marriage is going to be so much better than OnlyFans,
I am
because at
married.
least someone is there for you, and they are signing a contract to be there for you. We're going to protect you legally. You're going to have
I am
rights.
married. I do engage in sex work.
I know. I'm not talking about you. I'm just
Every
saying.
woman engages in sex work.
I know.
I know you're talking in general, but
I'm just
like
saying. I'm
the
just saying.
general
I'm
woman,
just saying.
I do engage in sex work by being a woman, by going to church,
Yeah,
by
but
being a
I'm just
streamer.
saying. I'm just saying. Marriage is better sex work than OnlyFans. OnlyFans, they don't. There's nobody there for you. It's like
Yeah,
it's
but
so like marriage. Marriage gives you rights.
but it also takes away some of your freedoms.
Sure.
I'll tell you, one of my deep, dark, secret fantasies is when I'm getting fucked, that I was paid to do it, and that I don't really want it, but that I have to do it because I was paid.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm a prostitute.
Yeah.
Like if I'm having trouble orgasming, I will pretend I'm a prostitute, that I don't like it, and it maybe even kind of hurts.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
I have the same things.
You have the same things?
Oh yeah. But it's not in paid to do it, because nobody would ever fucking pay me, so it's not part of my fucking psyche. Well, people would pay me. People would pay me, just not women.
I'll pay you.
Just not women. All right, you pay me. You pay me, and I will. I'll do whatever disgusting.
What are you gonna do for me?
Yeah, whatever.
In the alley.
If you'll pay me, and then I'll choke you out. And I'll throw you on.
I don't have a
the
choking thing.
Okay, I'll throw you on the bed or whatever. Okay, but whatever
No,
violent.
the alley.
All right. I will leave you naked in an alley. But
well,
but
so you were saying.
but I to be, because I think I've thought about this a lot about myself. The core of that fantasy, I think, is intimacy. It all is intimacy in a way, and all healthy sexuality.
How is it? How is it intimacy?
Because no, listen, it's intimacy. Just fucking listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. I thought about this. It's intimacy because when you're doing something for whatever reason, for me, it's like I've agreed to something, to a certain role in a relationship. It's like a contractual or obligated for like thing. Like I have to do this for some person. I'm obligated to do it. That's my role in the relationship. And even if I don't want to do it, I'm still doing it. But the thing that's intimate about that is that you're there for them. You're there for their needs, and you've crossed the veil into their sexuality, into even their masturbation. Because when you objectified yourself so strongly, now you're like, because the most intimate someone ever is when they're masturbating with themselves. When you're when you're with someone else, yeah. When
I
you're with
thought that
someone,
was interesting.
When you're with someone else, there's more. It's just the fact that you have to communicate means that communication is imperfect, and it's just less. You know what you think all the time, so you're the most intimate with yourself. And when you're trying to help someone masturbate, when you're really there for their bodily need, when their psychological need, then in that way you are very intimate with them.
Mm-hmm. So you think the fantasy that I have,
you want to be needed,
that I don't really want it,
you want to be
but
needed.
that he wants me enough to pay for me, but I can't tell him that I don't want it, or that it kind of hurts, that I have to endure it, and
Yeah.
make him feel good. That's really, that gets me off because of a desire for a kind of intimacy that only comes in self-sacrificial
Yeah.
sexual service.
Yes.
And you access self-sacrificial service through the position of the prostitute. But maybe it could be accessed in other ways.
Oh, of course. Of course. I know for sure.
There's a very popular trope in erotica, by the way. Sex slave who falls in love with her master, even if he's been kind of abusive. Or the harem fantasy. You're like a lowly member of the harem and he chooses you, but you are like, I think it's clearer in the harem fantasy than it is in like everybody's idea of a wife that you are a sexual slave because there's multiple of you. Obviously, it's what you're for, right? Um, so there's, I don't know. I'd like to explore this with OnlyFans. What really all I'm afraid of is that it wouldn't be successful and that it would hurt me irreparably. Um, to have been vulnerable like that to so many people who don't deserve it. But
You think if it was successful, you would have been vulnerable to people who deserve it?
huh, no. But I would have at least been paid for it. I could at least feel successful. I could at least feel like I had value. It might counterbalance. If I failed on top of being vulnerable, it would be worse, right? It might be too much. But I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I feel so, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Sometimes I feel like, what a hellish concept. So I don't know what I'm going to do. What else were we going to talk about? Streaming as a form of sex work?
Why are you changing the topic?
I think I'm starting to see your point. And I wonder how effectively I can argue against it when I'm starting to see your point. And I don't want to. It makes me sad that I'm in such a vulnerable, desperate position that I am thinking about making OnlyFans. And sometimes I feel like it is the absolute right thing to do, and empowering, and a site of art, etc. And then I have a dual voice in my head that says, you'll be used up by that. You'll lose self-respect. And it feels like that's not fair and that shouldn't be so. So why is it so I'm resistant to it? But I have an instinct. I have competing instincts that it could be very good and empowering and change my life and be an incredible art project and experience. And that it even could be a very positive experience for, what do you call them on OnlyFans? Clients, subscribers, Johns.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing that's dangerous. Like, I'm like I think that if you have very strong boundaries, you could have like something that's not harmful. But if if basically the thing you're describing where it's going to be positive for them, that means that all of their trauma and all their baggage is the thing that's going to be guiding you, and it's not
Yeah.
going to be fun. I mean, it's not.
My
It's
whole life has been like an interactive dance with the different people I engage with socially, and response to other people's energies that invokes different things in me, helps me discover different things in me. I think we're incredibly social beings, and the interaction with other people is at times painful and harmful and even abusive, but it is what helps us discover our own selves.
Yep. Yeah, but you need boundaries.
Yeah, I need some boundaries, dog.
Yeah.
But when you're vulnerable and open and allow men to just like flow into you, there's so much that can happen. That's beautiful. That I don't know I want to disallow it, even though I've had some pretty explosive experiences recently in the wake of intense intimacy, of being used and manipulated. And also the incredible pain of abandonment. And the shocking realization that like things were not the same for the other person, or etc. If you were used in ways you weren't even aware.
Yeah.
But perhaps, and I don't know what it's like to have an OnlyFans. But perhaps there's something to parasocial, social sexual relationships in this new domain of OnlyFans.
I don't think that.
It can be positive
I think that would
and even
be.
artful.
Let me think about this.
That it could be even good for me. That I wouldn't just be mitigating harms, that I could discover new things um, about intimacy and sexuality. Or that is an incredibly charitable way to view it. The thing is, all I have before me is a sea of potential. I have no idea what it will become. But I think about this often. And I think I could do it well. I think I could do it very well and uniquely. And I think that what I'm doing as a streamer is butted right up against it, right here. Streaming on Twitch, having an OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
But then also there's, it's the whammon thing again.
Yeah.
I am thrust into it, but
I would thrust myself into it.
Yeah.
Um,
The full gamut of the female experience.
and I don't think it's healthy for the clients, and I don't think it would be healthy for you. The way you're describing it. I'm thinking about it, and I just like the most healthy thing you could do as in like a sexual therapeutic thing is something that makes it so the person is never a returning customer ever again. If the thing you do makes them want to come
That's
back,
not how relationships work.
well, it's not a relationship. If they're paying
But it
you,
is.
then
But
if
it
it
is a
is,
relationship.
then you're replacing like an actual healthy functioning relationship in their life.
Ordo Invicti says he's spot on. That's interesting. So he says
It could be fun. It could be fun.
He says he likes you.
I bet I like him.
How is it not a relationship?
It is, but it's not a healthy one. It's a transactional relationship. Like.
Well, then what do you think of my relationship with the people in my chat and the people I've met online?
It seems fine.
But like, know what I mean? Like in theory, the relationship that an OnlyFans worker has with her clientele is disordered and wrong and abusive and not a proper relationship. But the relationship I have with people in the chat is appropriate.
Do you want people to be like, so if who is this, Invictus?
Invictus, yeah.
So he's in your chat. How would you feel if Invictus was like absolutely in love with you.
Invictus is absolutely in love with me.
Okay. How does that make you feel? Do you feel any sort of responsibility for that?
Well, we have a friendship.
Sure. Okay. Well, you can't have friendships like you're just starting streaming, you're growing. You
And
cannot have friendships with all of your like do you want to have like say that there are 20 Invictuses in your chat. You can't love them all. You cannot be friends with them all.
I have a very small community, and I'm very close with everyone who participates. Invictus
Right.
says, ha ha ha. uh,
Invictus,
that Invictus,
you've secured your friendship. You don't have to worry. But like moving forward, like it's like you can't like
okay.
keep being friends with it. Like like you can't actually be friends with all of your fans as you grow. You have to. But like the best way to grow is to make people believe that they're your friend, and you want people and like with this type of parasociality, like if you want to encourage that, you're gonna
Hmm.
encourage them to be in love with you. If you're gonna go down
Well,
this woman whammon.
I do. Okay, so let's talk about my own experience with parasociality and why I think it's okay. Because I understand that they do not know me individually and love me and may never, and that I don't need that in order for it to be okay that I kind of love them, even though I don't love every content creator that I watch or look up to. There's this maybe it's a kind of love, but it's not, there's different orders of
Yeah.
love. Like, so I had a really strong feeling of, oh, hi, Goldie. I had a very strong appreciation, I guess I should say, for Destiny
Mhm.
because his content pulled me out of the alt right. I sort of feel like he saved me from a lot of things I could have continued to endure.
Mhm.
He gave me like a pathway back. He reminded me who I was, and etc. I've had content creators that I admired take advantage of that fan admiration and use me up. And I think that's where the parasocial relationship can become abusive. If I were going into the DMs of random followers to pump them for nudes, uh, creating false intimacy because I had an intense need for this from people, like if I were abusing, I think my followers the way that I feel I was taken advantage of by this guy, not Destiny, a different guy who
Mhm.
I had that admiration for. I think that would be wrong. But
That's
I don't think it's wrong for me to just exist as a fan of Destiny and have a sort of an admiration for him. Where if I was in the same voice chat with him, it'd be hard for me to talk over the butterflies in my stomach, to be honest. Even though I don't have a
mhm.
crush on the guy, it's the level
Yeah.
of respect that I have, that I am vulnerable to him. It would
Um
be a problem if he took advantage of that, but
okay.
it's not a problem just to engender admiration in people.
Okay. There's an experience I've had many times in going into a stream with someone that has like 200 viewers, pretty active chat. Are you frozen? Are you frozen or you just look like that? Okay, no, you're frozen. Okay,
With viewers.
you
I think I'm
froze.
frozen,
You
but I can hear
froze.
you.
Okay, I can. Okay, okay, okay. All right.
I can hear you, so you
Okay,
can just keep going, even if
okay,
my
okay. I
video
hear
is
it. Okay,
frozen.
yeah, I will.
Oh, fuck.
So there's I go into a chat and there's like 200 viewers, and there's it's a pretty active chat, and I start watching for a while. Like I had this like in my early 20s, like I don't know, 24 or something, a couple times, and the streamer sort of engenders like a relationship with the fans, and you feel like you're intimate with the streamer. They're kind of sharing part of
Yeah.
their self, and I, as a viewer, like they'll make like a little edgy joke, whatever. If I make an edgy joke, just like the streamer just made in their chat, get the fuck out. What is wrong with you? That is like the mods will punish me, whatever. So I'm not allowed to be like intimate with them, like in any way. I think that's harmful. I think that part of like when you're encouraging people to have a like feel like you're like if like it's unique to streaming. Don't flash me. It's unique to streaming. It's not like so like in video format you can like you can distance yourself to the like you're like okay like I look up to this person and like I could like swoon over them and stuff, but it's my private relationship with them. But when streaming, it's not a private relationship. So the more you read chat and the more you interact with people in like a quasi friendship way, and you share part of yourself, but there's so many boundaries that you have up for them. It's impossible for you to like love them the way they love you, and you're really like you're selling them a promise. You're teasing them on something they can't actually get from you.
But they
But
can
that's
get
not
friendship from me.
yeah right now
And they
because
do have friendship from me.
yeah right now
Even if I couldn't have a DM relationship with all my viewers, I'm having a relationship with them live. I am reading the chat. Okay, this is stupid, but like when Chad reads one of my messages out loud on stream, I feel good. And I don't need anything else from him than that, right? But it still makes me feel good. And I still think like it was different for him. Was it good for you? Like, no, it's obviously like not the same experience that he's having, but he provided me an experience. I show up for his streams every time they like, and that, and I, and that's a valuable experience for me that I share with other people live in the chat. And so
look
the people in the chat are then creating relationships with each other.
that's cool, that's fine, I'm all for that. I don't think Chud particularly encourages people to love him so in such a way that I'm describing, and neither does Destiny. Like both of them have like they have very different relationships to their fans. Destiny more so encourages the love, but I'm talking about like women streamers, like some guys
I
do
know.
this, but like there's a lot of women that really are selling the love thing. Like they really are having
I
this
am loved though. You know what I mean? Like in a way, like human beings are loved and intimacy and like relationships. What else could
yes.
I be?
um well we're talking about
That's a weird thing for me to say.
what else could you be in the format of a stream? Like what else could you be in your relationship to someone who's in your chat? And the format itself encourages this dynamic, but
I think
like
I'm pretty upfront. Like I think that the way that I present myself is it's how I just it's how I'm this is how I am at the grocery store. This is how I am with my brother. This is how I am. Well,
right.
I mean everybody I'm sometimes people come into the stream and they're like, "Are you okay?" Because I'm not in like a flirty mood or whatever. But like, I definitely I like present like the full gamut of who I am.
Sure.
I talk about a lot of stuff that other people do not,
That's
and
not
a
bad.
part of that, and I think that is ultimately still the girlfriend experience, seeing all the
Okay.
moods.
Right, but that that is all cool and great. When it
Is it?
like I think it is. If that was in a video, like you'd be like learning about yourself and like about people. You have this you're I'm watching you at a video. I have my personal relationship to you where I kind of simulate you as a friend or whatever. But when you can press a button and send a message to you, while like so like if say you're watching a video of someone like you really look up to, like not a streamer, if you had an option to push a button and have them see something that you typed, it would completely change the way you think about them in a way where now you are feel like you have to show up for them. You have to do like, and it's just like the way you feel about your audience right now is, I think there's nothing wrong. Like, but like when if you get bigger, like say if you have like 200 people in your chat, um and if you still like, I mean, I don't mean to be like accusatory. I don't think you would be able to, like, I don't think you would want to. I think it would start to eat at you. I like if you still treat everybody in your chat like you talk to them as if they're your
What would eat
friend.
at me?
I don't know.
I don't
Maybe.
treat everyone in my chat like they're a friend. I I have reciprocal energy with people.
Right. Okay. Then in that case, it would eat at you because the thing I'm talking about would be impossible to be reciprocal. Like if you have 200 people in your chat, right? So you could never be reciprocal. Like,
We're making a comparison, right, between the OnlyFans a girlfriend experience
mhm.
and the streaming girlfriend experience. And what, like, it being okay when it's a streamer and it not okay when it's an OnlyFans girl.
I'm telling you, yeah, but I'm telling you that it's not okay as a streamer too. But
But you're telling me it's okay what I'm doing right now.
yeah, well, for what you are right now. But I think
Almost like
I'm trying to say like you need boundaries. And as a streamer, you can set boundaries to make it more okay. But
what
as
kind of boundaries?
okay, so um
I have a boundary
uh,
that you can't come into my DMs and abuse me.
well, sure.
I have a boundary that I don't fake emotion.
Sure, that's good. Um I'm talking about things, both of those are along the lines of what I'm saying. I don't mean to be accusatory.
No,
I'm
you're
just
not
like
being
abstract.
accusatory.
Well,
No.
okay, well, you seem defensive.
Oh, well, no, we're having like, don't worry about it.
I'm
I
not
don't feel
worried
defensive.
about it. I'm pointing it out. I guess I'm worried. Um,
I don't feel defensive. I want to like investigate
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what you're claiming.
So right now you can kind of reciprocate sort of friendship with people that you meet through streaming and stuff. As you grow, if you want to continue doing the girlfriend thing, where people
I
fall
don't
in.
intentionally do it.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. You're defensive. If
How am
you,
I defensive? Well, it's like if you want to continue doing the girlfriend thing,
I guess, yeah, I guess I'm accusing
I
you. I'm calling you out, and you're being defensive. Okay, so.
well, I don't think I'm intentionally doing the girlfriend thing. And I think as I grew, I would merely be responding to the change as it happened.
Let me
I
finish my
wouldn't.
sentence. Like, if you
Okay.
want, if as you grow, if you want to engender your fans to love you, to like try to get
No.
like to
Well,
pretend like you're their girlfriend,
no.
that, which is a lot of women do that on Twitch,
Hmm.
that is unhealthy. Now, if that goes to the
That
extent,
isn't what I want.
okay, that's what I'm trying to draw a line there. So, but like but you can set boundaries where that's not what you're doing, because I don't think you would want that. That would, unless you were like
I
a
wouldn't even want that on my OnlyFans.
right.
But
Okay, how do you
I
how do you
argue that regardless, it would be a girlfriend experience for them.
how do you stop, like I think a streamer can set boundaries with people to make it really unlikely that people will have unhealthy expectations, or like or like, and like try to like really understand what the relationship is. Not because it's in the interest of a streamer to kind of lie about the relationship. You're like, oh, no, we're all friends here, this is a big friend group, like, and there's like 500 people in chat. It's like, yeah, you're all my best friend. Like it's in your best interest to lie to everybody and make them
But
feel
it
like they're
still is a friendly gathering of like-minded folks, right? Even if we're not all
yeah,
besties.
yes, but it's in your best interest to lie about it and make it seem like you're all a lot closer than you are, when you really only like, oh, I remember that person, like they've been in my chat before, you know, like that kind of, like it's like, oh yeah, best, what's up Invictus, oh I remember you, I think, you know, like that's the kind of experience you're going to start having, like when you have 500 people in your chat. And but
I'm
that guy,
genuinely
that guy that you feel that way about will be like, oh, I watch you all the time, I love you, you know, I know everything about you. And when you're, you can set those kind of boundaries as a streamer, but when you're on OnlyFans, it's going to be really hard to set boundaries where people have a realistic perception of the relationship. When you like, they pay you, like they give you money in DM, like in DMs they give you money, they're like, oh here's $50 and I really like your butt, like I really like your butt, and it really soothed my soul. So you know, like, and like,
I think the intimacy when you're streaming on Twitch is more intense than the intimacy of OnlyFans. Than the intimacy of just getting content. Because like you were saying, when a man comes into my DMs and he wants content from me, what he really wants is intimacy. And what you get from a stream is intimacy. Even if we're talking about
sure,
politics. Politics is one of the most intimate things we can talk about, and religion. And it's what I love to talk about.
okay,
Order
okay,
Invictus says he wants you to know he likes the art in the background, which I also
well
like a
thank you,
lot.
it's my paintings.
You paint
um
those?
yeah, I'll show you in a bit.
Ah!
But I was gonna say something. You made me think. Yeah. So
I
the thing
think
that's wait, the thing
streaming
that's
is
different.
more intimate.
Yes. You're actually right. You're actually, and this is right to my point. Streaming is, you're giving them like, you're giving them a real intimate experience. With OnlyFans, it's less intimate because it's more like directly transactional. Because you can watch somebody without actually even paying them and stuff. With OnlyFans, it like removes a lot of that, but it's superficially much more intimate. It's far more intimate in a superficial way. So the intimacy that you experience while watching a stream is much more real, while the intimacy that you experience while looking at OnlyFans is actually, it's an extreme overwhelming feeling of intimacy, while it also is extremely fake.
Yes. Invictus says that you're right and that you've managed to phrase it exactly as he feels too. Okay, I want to just reiterate what I think you're saying. The intimacy that you experience as a viewer when you watch a stream is more real than the intimacy that you experience when you have an OnlyFans girlfriend. But the intimacy that you experience with your OnlyFans girlfriend is more intense, though artificial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, if you watch Amaranth, you
I
know,
do.
like, if you watch her and you're like one of the people that is like actually like completely in love with her, because I'm sure they exist.
Yeah.
Like you probably, like most of those people have a higher degree of self-awareness, where like, okay, I know that she actually doesn't care about me at all and I'm just having
Right.
fun. But like in OnlyFans, it's not going to feel that way. Like because
Doesn't it feel a lot
oh,
that
you froze again, you froze.
way with OnlyFans, and that's why it's a more artificial but intense experience? You can't hear me? You
Oh
know
no,
what?
you froze a
Damn.
second, you froze for a second. Wait, on OnlyFans,
Isn't that
you're
why
not
it is
in
actually
you're not in a big chat. It's just like your private DM with them, where you're asking them for a nude or whatever. You're paying them money directly. It's just you and them. It's just one on one.
I think you win against what you said just now. I think you contradicted yourself, but I'm having a hard time articulating how because of the flow of the conversation got disjointed for me. But say what you just said again.
You're in OnlyFans, in Twitch. You're like one of like 50 people. It's like going to a restaurant where there are like 50, like, or like, I don't know. It's like,
So
say
it's
you
a
go.
more intimate chat room at OnlyFans, you mean?
No, what, that's
It's
not what I'm saying.
smaller?
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, on Twitch, like, say you're in a chat room with 300 people. It's like going to a restaurant where there are 300 customers, and they're all where, oh, you're just one of 300 people eating at this restaurant. You don't feel like you have a special relationship with the cook whatsoever. If you go to a restaurant where it's just you and the cook, and that's it, it's like, okay, like, I like, because in on OnlyFans it's just your DMs with them, because most of the money that OnlyFans, top OnlyFans people make isn't from the subscriptions. It's from people paying you directly for services in these
Oh,
messages. And and that's what you're talking about wanting.
so
You want to have a catered experience. And if it's just you and them, it's just the cook. You're at my restaurant. There's one table. You sit at that table. I will cook the meal and put it there, and I'll look at you and I'll do whatever you want. Like, I'll make it exactly like you want, and that feels way different from being one customer at a place with 300 customers.
I don't actually think that what I want to do is just cultivate DMs with people, though I probably engage with that. But I'm interested in creating an art piece, right? Well, and then also having like individual tailored services with people that like I make into art, and then have like as part of like the dashboard in the OnlyFans, like a sex spell book, like that I build up over time through services to clients, where you would think about me that way. They think about me as a sex worker who, you know, is available to you, but like I am not your girlfriend, but we do have a relationship. You can have an intimate relationship with a sex worker, right?
I, I
And both parties can be aware of what the parameters are. Unless I were abusing the dynamic for money and not being clear about how I felt about someone.
I don't think that you are someone who's going to be abusing the dynamic.
I think it'd be easy to fall into.
I think that you're likely to get abused by the audience,
Okay. Right.
but it could be
Yeah, for
both. But
sure. It could be mutual abuse. Invictus, he actually, Smets streams on YouTube. You don't really stream on Twitch, right?
yeah, not currently, but I'm probably gonna start doing it.
Okay.
But
So you can find
multi-streaming.
Smets in the self-promotion tab of my Discord.
Hold on,
Invictus would like to like and subscribe.
right. Hold on.
Invictus says, "Oh, he gave me a link on your Discord." Oh yeah, you guys were flirting.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a parasocial relationship with Invictus, Matt?
Probably.
Do you and I have a parasocial relationship?
Glue soak on.
No, we have a quasi fucked up weird sexual relationship.
I thought we didn't have a sexual relationship.
Yeah, but then all we talk about is sex, so.
Well, all I talk about is sex. You're just having a conversation with me. That's not your fault.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking. Like, say something funny.
Boobs. Butts. You know what? Bobs and vagine. Throw me on the bed and rail me.
Okay, that's not funny.
That's not funny. Sex in an alley with a hand over my mouth. The stop sign in the back is talking to me. The stop sign is for me.
Yeah. Got my creativity. You got me going.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
tell me about it.
Tell me about me objectifying you.
Yeah, what's that like
Thinking
from the
about
man's perspective?
thinking about you being red in the face and sweaty and mascara running down your face. You got your knees scuffed up because you're on the fucking pavement in an alley.
That sounds great.
But
Well, now my face is red.
yeah,
I meant to be funny, but so what I'm thinking about when I say things like that is just how freeing it feels that I can. I think I've already said this, but like that this is a domain of human experience that is okay to express, and with friends, and publicly, and uniquely as a woman, and and it's a little. I think it's thrilling because people probably think it's like dangerous behavior for me to engage in, but just no. Invictus says he's at half mast. I'm sorry, man. He's gonna leave the chat because it got too intense.
he'll be
But
back in
like,
5 minutes.
I know. Oh, yeah, 5 minutes. Yeah, he said he's been popping in and out regardless. I don't know how many times he's come today just from this conversation. But it's part of my humor. And it's also really fun. And I think that and it's possible that it could be like dangerous behavior to engage in. But because just because I talk like this doesn't mean, right, that I feel any particular desire for someone to come into my DMs like the let's go really go in the alley and do it stud. You know what I mean? But it's just it's freeing to have discourse like this, like people have behind closed doors, only with people that they feel safe enough to be intimate with like that. Like the kinds of conversations that we have when nobody's listening who we're afraid of that might hurt us. You know what I mean? Or judge us. Um,
Hmm.
and what might it be like to be the kind of a woman who like says things like this? Um, and like that part of my self-expression that can occur usually when you're only with certain people in certain environments can occur freely. And so when I meet people like you who are willing to have exchanges like this with me and it doesn't get weird or it doesn't I don't get like the immediate reprisal like good women do not speak that way. Good women don't desire that. Good people don't talk about that publicly. Good people don't even explore those things. It's exciting and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I guess validated in a way. Um,
Hmm.
but it usually does make people uncomfortable. And I spent years only around people who were so uncomfortable with sex that we couldn't talk about it at all. And it made it even more omnipresent than it is now in my life.
I think that your exploration is great and your being creative sexually is great. Um, but I just think that like the way to go about that being monetized
Mm.
is like it's like toxic soil to plant a garden in.
How do I monetize it? How do I monetize the way that I'm perceived and my own exploration of this?
What do you mean? How do
The
I monetize?
desire to be the desire to be public as a streamer, right? And to
Okay.
have a career like this, which is tinged by my sexuality and the way I talk and what I look like and what I desire. How can that be like monetized or even fully explored unless I have an OnlyFans?
Yeah, but I'm saying the monetizing is the dangerous part.
Monetizing is the problem,
It's the dangerous part,
but I
yeah.
am monetizing it without.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm
By,
already
by streaming.
monetizing
Yeah.
me, and part of me is my sexuality
But it's just so,
and the
like I said,
exploration of.
it's just so much easier to set boundaries on a stream.
Yeah, but there's like a missing chunk of this like art piece, which is OnlyFans. It feels like that's like it feels like that's like uh the DLC.
The DLC to the object that is knack.
Yes,
If you
the
want to get
game,
your,
the game that you can play.
it's the knick knack. You roll you
Tanya
up
says,
in.
I don't think Smith has the answer to your question. And you don't have to have the answer to my question. Like, you're not responsible
What
for
question?
me. What question do you think he not doesn't have the answer to, Tanya? Yeah, because maybe I'm asking you unfair questions. Maybe it's kind of an intense
I didn't think
position to
you were
put you
really
in.
asking me a question. I was just saying how I feel, and you're saying how you feel.
Yeah.
Looks maybe whoever said that doesn't think that what I'm saying is right for you. But I think that you need the thing you're talking about.
I
Um,
think I need it too.
but I'm just saying the monetization makes it dangerous.
Yes.
Also,
Okay.
yeah. Also,
Tanya says the question of how you should explore your sexuality and personality.
no, I don't think that there's like I think you should be careful, but I'm just saying monetization is dangerous. The monetization like of like so say like oh I need to explore my personality and I'm gonna explore it while people pay me to explore it. Now like you're not it's not really you've tainted
Is
your
it no
ability
longer real?
to actually explore your personality and your sexuality because people you're exploring their personality and sexuality. You're beholden to their.
But I want to create sexual content. I think that's where like the next frontier of my art is. And I think the only appropriate place to put it is OnlyFans because I don't want children to have access to it.
Mhm.
I don't think it should be on social media. I think it should be hidden on OnlyFans. And I want to be able to go full force with sex in art.
I'm all
I
for
want to
that.
be able to, yeah.
I'm all for that.
That's why I want an OnlyFans because that seems like where that kind of content should go. And it would be irresponsible to put it anywhere else. But I have an intense drive to create that content. And I can't put it on Patreon. Patreon doesn't allow sexual content to the degree that I want to create it. You can have nudity, but like they have a weird rule about like if the sexual content is like designed at all like porn, it isn't okay. It has to be art. And it's like, what the fuck's the difference?
Yeah.
Like it's in the eye of the beholder. You could decide that this is porn and not art, when to me it's art. So I think I need to put it on OnlyFans in order to have the self-expression that I keep seeing in my head, the kind of photos and videos that I feel like doing, the kind of poetry and erotica that I want to write, the kind of like the spell book thing and all that shit is,
You want
a new idea that I had to.
Do you want to make this? Fuck. I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you captive. You can escape anytime you want.
No, fuck you. You want to make this for an imaginary viewer, right?
For me, right? Yeah.
And I think that the audience that will be watching won't perfectly match up with your fantasy.
True. And that will end up being part of the experience. That's part of my experience as a person. The fact that I want to have this kind of self-expression that like ends up rubbing up strangely against other people's expectations of me. I don't fit anywhere. I wouldn't fit on OnlyFans. I wouldn't have a perfect matchup with my audience anywhere. What I want to create is not going to be necessarily what people want. Never been exactly what people want. And I almost like that at this point.
Okay,
It's almost part of what makes my art.
Right. All I have to say, okay, that's good. I think you should have really clear boundaries.
Yeah. This makes me want an OnlyFans bad.
So I've made you want an OnlyFans more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was because I made you horny. And
I'm horny.
So
yeah, that was great. But you also reminded me of why I think the porn that I can create isn't
this is a failure.
just a service to others. You're gonna save me. Well, I could.
You're 29 years old, and you're not a total lamb to the slaughter, but you're very vulnerable.
Yeah, true.
Right now.
Yeah, and it feels good, kind of, to be so open and vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Might just welcome. I won't say it. I won't say it. Never mind.
Say it. Okay, you don't have
I
to
might just welcome the penetration of this experience of OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Might be that
this stream is gonna be the best fucking advertisement for your OnlyFans.
True. It doesn't exist yet. You can subscribe to the Patreon, but the Patreon can't be what I want it to be, and so I haven't contributed much to it. I feel too restricted there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I wanted to, like, I have to think about what is acceptable, and on OnlyFans, I think what I want to do, all of it is acceptable. I didn't even book I haven't even picked my OnlyFans. I should do that. I should go create it right now. So no one else does. Smith. You poor man. Kenya, you bookmarked your OnlyFans a year and a half ago, just in case you ever wanted to make it. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I should have done that.
This is my fault.
I don't think it's your fault. But talking to you, you're very artistic. You're
what autistic?
You're artistic.
Oh.
Artistic, and the conversation was provocative enough And I think that streaming is art. I think that conversation is art. And our conversation showed me that I didn't just start having this interest in OnlyFans because I'm a stupid internet whore. It has grown out of my life experience organically. And
Cool.
it may be a mistake.
I believe in you.
But it's okay. Thanks. Something I desire.
You slut.
Yeah. Well, no, I have a body count of 1. That might be part of like this sexual explosiveness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't you want to try like doing stuff in real life, with people? Like,
My husband would not like that.
I see. Okay.
Not allowed to do that.
Now I see.
Hmm. That does, I guess, perhaps put it in context for you. I
A little
am
bit.
not able to explore that.
Mm-hmm.
It would hurt my husband.
Tell him to do some. Take it to the alley.
Take me to the alley. I'm poly. I think, and my husband is monogamous, and so I'm bound in monogamy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's difficult. It's kind of difficult, and it's
Yeah.
difficult for him too.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wonder what poly really means, and what it grows out of, and whether it's a choice. So I'm suspicious of myself when I say that I'm poly. It sounds just like uh, I'm not a good woman to my ears. And I don't know if that's
You're
like,
shamed.
I'm ashamed. I'm deeply ashamed and saddened by it. And I would like not to feel that way, but when it hurts my husband, there's no other way to feel, right?
Hmm. I
This is
can't
an
tell you.
arena that I can't, this
I
is an
can't.
arena where I can express myself sexually. I can't do it.
I can't tell you how to feel about
Yeah,
that.
no. But it plays into all of this. It's why I didn't identify as poly for most of my life, because I like the shame dynamic, which in some ways reminds me of the shame dynamic I felt about being bi, but it's different, I guess, just because my current relationship to the feeling.
Yeah. Do you go to therapy?
It- there is no therapy available in my area. I live so rural.
Oh god damn it. Okay, well, I was gonna say like if you do OnlyFans, just make like just go to therapy while you do it,
Mm.
and
I
like
have to get a virtual therapist.
tell your therapist like, okay, I'm starting OnlyFans, and I just want to be in therapy while I do like go through this, and you could help me like have your therapist help you like navigate your experience as you do it.
Maybe my community will help me navigate my experience as I do it. Maybe my friends.
Okay, but if your community, like your community that's paying for your OnlyFans.
Tanya says, do OnlyFans with your therapist.
When I told my therapist that I was gonna start posting nudes, then and like making porn, they told me they acted really concerned, and they told me to start journaling about it while I did it
Hmm.
and how I felt.
That's cool. Did you?
A little bit.
You should. And then you should keep it and bind it in a book of poetry. Or prose, I guess. Whatever way you write. That would be interesting to read.
You've probably seen some of the shit that I write. Fucking
In your little
stupid.
diary.
Yeah, my little
I
diary.
do. I read your diary. I like that you have that.
It's fun.
I found that inspiring.
It's fun. Stuff
Yeah, it is
like
fun. I mean, like,
spliff pooty poot yunky, doink bacoon.
wait, I
Uh,
don't think that's what your therapist asked you to write.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna write that in there. That's too private.
True, true. It's too private. I'm into ripping open and showing the insides.
I'm
You
into
like
that.
that? Look at that.
I'm into that, but and I know you. You clearly are, and that's a very You're gonna attract a lot of heat-seeking missiles.
I've met a lot of really great people. I've met you.
I'm a heat-seeking missile.
Not really.
Yeah.
How so?
I see people emotionally vulnerable, emotionally open, and I'm like, I just seek that connection. I get right in there.
Hmm. Maybe I'm a
Um,
heat-seeking missile.
yeah.
This is our first real conversation.
We had some conversations before.
Yeah, but the first one where I'm looking at you while you're talking to me,
Hmm.
and where the conversation extends to the length of a conversation that you would have with someone who you're actually hanging out with in person, which includes lulls. And I was just watching you during the lull and watching you squeeze the stress thing.
It's needed eraser.
Nice. I don't know. This is a different level of intimacy, and you know what I mean. It's just a
Yeah.
different.
I keep stopping myself from making sexual comments about you. I have a problem. I have a problem with being such a heat-seeking missile. I like I I don't know if it's a problem. It was a problem in my early 20s, but now that I'm 29, it's not a problem because in your
We're
early
the same
20s,
age.
yep, we're the same age.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I was worried
But
that you were a lot younger,
no, no, no.
and that there would be a sort of a that kind of a dynamic, you know.
Yeah. You'd prefer if I was 45
I
and
have an older friend, and I do enjoy that.
um
But I like that we're the same age. I think that's special.
yeah. It's not Smith's fault. I'm the Oracle and you're Neo.
Me?
Yeah, someone in my chat said that I'm the Oracle and you're Neo.
I'm Neo's girlfriend. That's what I was for Halloween. I have the cat suit to prove it. Black fake leather cat
Neo's
suit.
girlfriend, yeah. Catwoman.
Mm-hmm. What's her name? Neo's girlfriend.
Trinity.
Trinity. I'm Trinity.
You didn't even know her name.
I didn't even know her name. She's just a hot bitch. I
Yeah,
just
just
wanted
a
to be
hot
her.
bitch. Oh, fuck.
Okay, all my girlfriends when I was a kid and I hated that I was bi, Sigourney Weaver, Trinity, the other hot lady from Alien 2, Kristen Stewart, Kate Beckinsale in the Underworld trilogy. The cartoon character from the video game Blood Rain. Who else did I love? There's always women who kind of looked like me. Or were vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, anti-hero type hot bitches. Who were if you want to tell me,
Who was my what?
who were
People
your,
I people I looked up
girlfriends or
to.
boyfriends growing up? You know what I mean? Like,
My imaginary girlfriends and boyfriends.
right, like your equivalent of my, like, attachment to Trinity and Kate Beckinsale, Celine, and Underworld.
It's tough.
Tanya, the Matrix movies were great. I don't know what you're fucking talking about.
I plead the fifth.
Okay. Damn.
Like I know I
All
thought of
right.
something like I just thought of something I could say, but like
All right.
I would think about people that I knew.
Mm.
I would think about or like people that I vaguely knew, like but didn't really know
Mm.
very much. And I don't think it
I
was
didn't
ever like
have
celebrities. It was
that.
never celebrities for me.
Mm. I'm
There was
almost envious of
sometimes
that.
some teachers.
It's teachers. I think that's more a male experience, but I have heard that women have that experience sometimes too. There aren't
Yeah.
as many male teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was a substitute teacher, that was fucking scary.
Oh, I'm a
Getting,
substitute teacher.
hey, like, oh, do you want to see a picture of me in my bikini? No, just let me see it.
No.
No, get the fuck away from me. Like, no, 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 stop, go away.
No, literally.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't sub high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I did that a few times. But yeah. The
yeah.
best subbing that I do is
In an alley.
you're I call that subbing. I have never had this experience, but I revisit it all the time. And the train, I have a getting fantasy of getting trained that we joke about in the Discord sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't joked about it recently, but yeah.
All right. I'm
Poor
sure
Smith.
we'll probably talk again at some other point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Okay.
But we're simmering down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You got tired.
Yeah, well, we've pretty much exhausted the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You lost.
I
Well,
lost. No, I don't think I really lost. I think that it was a good conversation. Um, I support you and your mission to become the world's biggest slut.
that's
And
not my mission. It's
I
not my mission. But
would
maybe the
say,
next time we talk, I could bring topics to the table.
mhm. When I say world's biggest slut, I don't know if I'm connecting with you, but
Hmm.
I mean that in like a in the most supportive way. When I say slut all the time, and people are like, "Oh, like it's like I don't associate shame with the word slut. It's just a word for someone that's sexually promiscuous in a way."
But it's funny because I have like body count one, right? So it's
Hmm.
like It's like performative sluttiness. It's like mental sluttiness. It's not like real or actualized in any way.
Slutty mental gymnastics. Slutty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said
There
mental gymnastics because I was just thinking about gymnastics is kind of slutty.
What are you gonna do after we end the stream? Some mental gymnastics?
Yeah, some aerobics.
Well, thank you for reaching out to me initially and for being friendly and kind and um, talking with me about some very intimate things. And I've like, I want to say for enduring me, but I think that's like a self-critical instinct that I have.
Nope.
I'll let you go if you're ready.
We'll talk again.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Smith.
Bye bye. All right. So I'm going to be going on a trip on the 23rd to the 30th. So I will not be streaming, but I'm going to be making some videos and stuff. So I'll be working on some stuff, but there won't be streams for a while. Short while. Like I have said before, on the 6th, when I come back on the Thursday, I will be having a conversation or an argument or a debate, an altercation, I don't know, with Mr. Girl, hosted by Wick and moderated by Wick about feminism and men being feminists. Can defeating the patriarchy be beneficial to men? Is the patriarchy bad for men? I think it is, because I see sexual relationships. I see gender, sexual relationships as a relationship. It's not a relationship if it's just focused on one. Any relationship that has dysfunction hurts both parties. That's what I think. And this is a new mic. I don't know if I said that, but I'm pretty happy with it. It sounds a lot better, I think. Yeah. Goodbye, Smeth heads.